So we'll see what AL is willing or looking to set up for with that pick 1. Other pick that's in mind, honestly, at this point, Slayer, first pick Rel. I mean, you'd be signing up for a Rel Braum matchup, but at least you'd be able to go first, and that's the Braum ban to potentially be setting up for that early Rel.
I do think Aurora priority is huge here because AL.
Great point. Okay, so Trundle Rel trade here. I think that we're going to have a Trundle picked up, potentially. If not, Rel, very big pick.
Let's see. Do you want playmaking for Kael, or do you want a pivotal jungle champion left up for Tarzan?
It's a real choice here. I kind of like the Weibo ban of the Aurora. I think you got to go Trundle, though. It's been too good for Tarzan. He has been the Trundle player. I mean, he was the first guy really popularizing this after Monkey. And I think he has been the most successful the most successful Trundle player that we've had in the LPL has been in the hands of Tarzan. So, what's the response for Weibo? Do we see a Tian Lee Sin special? Also, that Jarvan still up for Tian if he wants it.
Rel and Jarvan can pair so well together to create a little magnetized death ball. So we'll see that Rel come across first. What does Tian want to go for after this if it's not the Jarvan? You start thinking, what other pairings do you like? Wow. Yeah, so you got Maokai, Sejuani. These are good hovers. Like Skarner's still around there, floating around. Dara. Oh.
We're getting weird.
Morgana jungle. This is the new age of League of Legends, everybody. You saw it yesterday, and you're getting it from Tian now.
W pool buffs did help Morg's clear. It's very quick. It's very fast, as we did see more buffs go over to MF. Has been a really big champ for Hope and AL throughout the calendar year, so that extra bonus 3 AD at the base
the MF
will be coming on in, and we'll see what kind of pairing that they can find with MF, because you can't exactly go for any engaged support. You're kind of stuck with an Enchantress of sorts now. It's got to be Bard. I can't think of anything else. Black Shield can get you out of the Tempered Fate. That's it.
So, Cubby, if you wanted to go MF for Hope, right? Why didn't you take the Rel side of this trade? Rel MF was dominating as a champion pairing before.
They're not wrong.
Bard and Trundle already, I don't like these setups for MF ultimates. As MF comes back
asked
to the
to get Jarvan. You did ask to get Jarvan too. So it's now Morgana mid. Carry. It's now Morgana mid or Morgana AD carry.
Oh, that would be wild. I think this is, again, what has Xiaohu been best on in this split? Facilitators. That is Morgana to a T.
Morg mid, like, you don't care about Trundle. That champion does not matter to you. You do not, like, you see the Trundle walk into the lane, you just fucking Black Shield and walk away. Sorry the F-bomb there. It's getting late. Anyway, moving forward.
All right,
MF's gonna struggle against the Jarvan. Definitely a pretty easy wombo combo already showing for Weibo. I do not like this opener for AL at all. I feel like you're really signing up for a low damage comp, and the two fastest mids you can play into Morgana are now taken off the board. Yone is still up. You can play Yone and just turn this into a farm fest.
I think that's the only angle. I don't love at all how we've built around this misfortune, and there's not a lot of ways for mid or top to really set this up. We don't have any more Ornn. We don't have any more Scion. We don't have these like facilitating top lane champions. I don't know how this misfortune is going to pair up. Okay, so we get the Zeri coming through for light. So that is going to...
Zeri gets a Black Shield?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is terrifying.
Oh my god.
This is a terrifying... My panic here is back up to 10 for this game. I think you have to Yone.
And then I would take a champion that doesn't get destroyed by Jax, because I think you're going to get Jaxed. That makes a lot of sense for me with Breathe. Just because you can maybe win later on. Oh, Kassadin! It got buffed too. This champion got buffed too. We are cooking something special here, folks. We got to find a way to play into this area. I guess we're doing so late. So now MF is the bridge builder.
Okay.
You still get destroyed by a Jax champion, and that thing shows up. Do not pick a champion that gets destroyed by Jax, please. Flandre, don't do it.
Gnar.
We're asking to get Jaxed here.
I think this is a Gnar angle.
Okay, that does beat Jax. That does beat Jax.
It does, but
it's a Flandre special.
This is just such a weird combo of champions. There's no cohesion here.
The other thing is that, like, Jarvan can't go attack Kassadin in the mid game because Kassadin runs away. So you want to attack Jace, and Jace is really vulnerable to that. I think taking a top laner that can really help attack the Jace is good. You can't take something like Malphite here. I think it's going to end up being something like Aatrox. You can play into the Kassadin still. Other matchups like Gragas just not going to be an option with Kassadin on your screen. So this is the draft. We have a pretty good dog pile showing here for Weibo. And then AL going to need Shanks on this Kassadin that did see buffs on this patch to really get scaling and get into the later stages of the game. It's all about having 2 winning sides to help support Kassadin and going late.
Oh, Cubby,
Wait, what?
this Shanks Kassadin pick.
Hold on.
What? I think
They're not going to play Lane Jarvan in the cast, right? Because that, I know
Lane Jarvan.
That's I mean, into cast. That's actually, I think that there is some validity to that. You have 20 seconds till you can swap.
The Kassadin is in Tian's hand, brother. I don't know where we're going with Lane Jarvan. This is gonna be the Morgana.
Okay, we're
mid,
good.
no?
We're good. We're good.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
no, we're good. I am just making sure. I mean,
Okay.
Jarvan, like, again, Morgana gets kind of baptized by Kassadin. You can push, but that's your only defense. And Kassadin gets to farm everything for free because of his W. Going to be vulnerable, though, to the Jarvan jungle. I mean, Jarvan with Ignite mid actually does destroy Kassadin early on. Just throwing that out there if anyone wants to use that for yourself at home in solo queue. You can rush Profane Hydra. Rush Profane Hydra on Jarvan and send that Kassadin to the Shadow Realm, all right? You can banish him forever. You really can.
I'm confident that works in the late night flex games. I would not want to see that here because I think Weibo have outclassed AL in this draft the way they've gone about it. When I see this Shanks Kassadin pick, the only way I see this working is 2018 Braun in the playoffs, all right? That's where we're at with this Kassadin pick. But AL are going to have to make it work, or they are heading to the lower bracket as we are live for Game 4.
Not Spellbook. Oh. Xiaohu with the first strike, I actually like a lot. You can just kind of farm hits off the Kassadin. As we're gonna let some of the Xiaohus ring here.
Yeah, I mean, they're loud for Weibo. Cubby,
Yeah,
they've never been louder for
be.
the Weibo squad right now.
Not been a lot of reason to cheer for the Weebs so far this year. But if Weibo were to start to pull off an upset over AL, one that our team did not see coming today, that would be a hell of a way to really tell the rest of the bracket that you're here and you're here to play.
Already level 1 shenanigans afoot
2
here.
first strikes.
Double the damage there. Just trying to get some words on this Raptor camp, and you still won't get it. So,
Shanks
no
started
way to track Tian on this clear. They will know he'll be starting topside, though. And you mentioned it, right? The bridge factor that is for AL's comp, and that's what we've got to watch as this game goes on. Shanks is the late game insurance policy. AL are trying to lean on a winning lane for Flandre and bot Prio from Hope.
If Flandre does have to be a little bit careful in that lane, like he should be up against the Aatrox, but of course Doinby is the last person to play this. It's 2019, going up against JDG when Doinby was on FPX, when FPX was making that tear through the LPL. Some mid lane Morgana as it makes its return. A little bit more familiar with this pick. Shout out to Samikin, part of the NACL, did play this in a Game 5 victory they had in the lower bracket there as Blue Otters with Samikin, a top 3 team in the NACL. That's the only Morgana mid I've seen of late.
I'm always here, no matter what hours of the night it is, for some Blue Otter
Some
love.
Samikin shoutouts, yeah.
Especially Samikin shoutouts. Get to see these lanes starting to settle in as we expected. Flandre getting some decent push. Hope and Kael, same thing. Light and crisp, we're going to have to buy time and settle on in. But that opens the floodgates for Tarzan to do what he has accomplished, especially in Game 1. Started getting it going in Game 3. Want to see when he tries to take the fight here to Tian. It's not going to be on these bottom side camps. He's not going to be able to steal any of these away. Gromp and Blue Buff should be secured fine for Tian. It could be a bot crab angle, but not much yet to punish Tian like he did very early on in this series.
I just realized that Doinby playing that Morgan on FPX would have had Tian and Crisp in there as well, as that was the roster back in that year. Kind of funny. Maybe Tian and Crisp were part of the tech that helped revive this pick for Xiaohu in the mid lane. Of course, that Morgana going to be farming up a storm, as Kassadin will be able to pick up majority, given what we talked about with Shanks. Did go for second win in that matchup. Very much necessary. Wow, 3 unique champions for Weibo this split. Piloting the Aatrox, the Morgana, and the Zeri. 3 champs we have not seen on the Rift so far for Weibo in split 3. Kind of interesting.
Uncharted territory, right? But the series just feels like uncharted territory for Weibo.
Really is. Yeah.
And I'm glad that, you know, despite the fact that Breathe hasn't played any Aatrox, we've seen Tian on the J4 just once. These 2 guys have done such heavy lifting, especially early, to get Weibo in spots to kind of just thrive. Xiaohu played a really good Rise game, but he doesn't get in a comfortable spot like that if we don't see Tian be such a problem on the Neferi and Breathe equalize that Rumble matchup and get such a lead. I wonder if Tian, now on more of a facilitating play with this Jarvan, as you called out, maybe we'll have to wait for the Cataclysm to come around, but I expect him to look for a gank to force Flandre's flash at the very least.
Yeah, for me, if I'm Weibo, I think it's all about attacking Jace in the side lane. When it comes to kind of the mid-game transition, once a couple of these outer turrets fall, Jace definitely going to be gettable for the Jarvan and the Aatrox. They can try and create the dog pile. Definitely going to be the case for Weibo.
TP back out for Xiaohu. Going to be answered here by Shanks. That's all fine and dandy. Dragon is on the Rift here. Advantage I'd give to Tarzan. Trundle, one of the power points of this champion is that he can kind of just solo out these dragons with ease. But
his
he needs
lanes
the prio
are
of
not
his
winning.
lane. Yeah, that's
That's the tricky one. Also, Morgana W, the ability to just kind of, you know, drop a pull or 2 on Dragon and actually make a big difference for your jungler are very real. So I think with the Zeri Morgana prio, I'm expecting a very early Dragon to be started by Weibo here, as yep, we do see Tian making his way down and Chris making sure the pit is clear.
It is the morning hours of this game, but already, I again have to commend how Breathe has been able to control a top lane matchup we expect him to fall behind in. He's going to be pretty even on CS, and he's gotten over towards that World Ender state. That's where he can fight back a lot versus this Jace. Breathe still in just as impeccable form as ever into consistent counter matchups that we've seen across this series.
This is good so far that AL has actually been able to slow this one down. As we see Tian, a very smart sweeper there. And has to escape the Bard Trundle combo with the pillar, but actually looking for a re-engage. Crispo!
All right, we give Chris one of those a game, Cubby, remember. We give him one.
Yeah.
All right.
We give him one. Sometimes we see more than one, but we always give him one. Flandre was going for the plant, though. Not going to be able to get it, as Tian's going to deny that one from him. We'll secure the crab, and that's going to send Flandre packing for base. So that said, I mean, small win to the top side doesn't change the Dragon here on the bot side, as Weibo actually going to look to get involved. I mean, this is still slow. I think this is greedy from AL.
Okay.
They could port out. Oh, that
jungle ultimates. Oh my god, big bullet time. Xiaohu has to flash out of that. He drops the soul shackles as well. Tarzan can get stunned up over the wall, but Tian, look, he can't get in because Shanks is dropping so much damage into him. The Dragon's not low enough for him to smite it over. First blood goes over to Hope, and Shanks has ultimate. He's going to jump on top of Light. Kill's going over to AL first, but who's going to end up getting the Dragon? Tian gets towards level 6. Good flash from Shanks to get out of the Cataclysm. The Dragon is still untouched, and it's doing so much damage. The flag, the shield, it's enough for Tian. Shanks, it takes too long to get the kill, and with the assist from the Hextech Drake, no, Shanks doesn't fall. And through all of that, the first Drake of the game is going to reset.
I wonder how much damage that Hextech Dragon did, because that thing was... It was breathing whatever gems it spits for the entirety of that duration. As we have an LPL moment here, Slayer, it's been 3 pretty one-sided affairs, but a little bit of chaos, a little bit of back and forth might just be what the doctor ordered for AL, as Xiaohu takes a lot of his health early thanks to a good Q from Kael, catches him on the Drake, does his best to get Tarzan out of the fight, but the damage was done. On the flip side, yeah, Light didn't have ult, and Shanks had a charged up ultimate himself. He forced out both Tian, kills Light, has a great flash there to survive the Cataclysm damage, and that ends up becoming necessary in the back half of this because he survived like 50 HP. So well played by Shanks to get out of that one.
All right, picture in picture, we go back live towards the Grubs.
2 Grubs secured.
2 picked up for Tarzan. They're not going to grab 3, but it's always good when you get a Might out on the Rift if you are the Trundle comp and the Jace comp. And Casson, you know what? Big for AL to get 2 grubs there for their composition.
We have to say that also AL picked up 2 kills on the Shanks' Cassid, and that's going to mean he gets to his scaling items faster, and he will overtake the Morgana. Like, they actually need Light to be strong enough, because this is the lane assignment that Weibo's going to want later on. Once Shanks gets access to 11, Morgana really struggles into the Cassidy from there. Especially, like, past 16, because then what you can do as Cassidy is you can hop in and hop out of the tethers once you have that, 2-second cooldown in the hop. So, a lot of these early levels for Xiaohu. I mean, he's got CS. You're going to farm in the Morgana, but his usefulness is already starting to wane. I'm expecting to see the Torch into... we'll see where he goes from there, but it's likely to be a Blackfire Torch rush. Yeah.
Likely an early Zhonya's too, the classic Morgana combo, right? Especially with that new ultimate damage. You can kind of just flash on top of squishy teams like AL, drop that ult for the damage, then go right into the stasis, and it's not really a great response here for AL to deal with. It's fascinating, right? In this game, we have scaling bailouts on both sides. Breathe is going to be one of them here, but he's once again taking really good early trades into Flandre.
Yeah. Well played by Flandre. Did hammer swing the Q3 of Aatrox, so the knockback didn't connect onto, or the knock up didn't connect because the knockback did connect on the golf swing. So well played by Flandre. That's definitely the big interaction you're looking for in this matchup between that and the phase rush being used to get out of the tethers and some of the other sweet spots that Aatrox is looking at. So Flandre, he's been a long time Jace player. There was everyone had, if you tried to coach in League of Legends in like the early 20s, at one point you definitely looked at a Flandre Jace VOD. It was just circled by everyone. As I'm blanking on the coach that circled around from the LPL. Kelsey would know, as Kelsey Moser's behind us on the sticks today, producing. But yeah, that was a fun one. Been a long time Jace player up there in the top lane.
It's always good to understand the roots and the history of some of these players, especially knowing that Flandre needs to have one of those Jace performances of old to keep AL alive in this series and force that game 5. But start to see sort of the difference in power spikes. It's coming online for some of these matchups. I especially want to point out in the AD carry department, right? Hope going for that Bloodthirster rush. Misfortune gets a ton of power on first item. Even if you go this scaling build, Zeri needs a lot of time. And Light could use any and every second he can find here in this game. Again, that's why this game is so interesting, because we have lane assignments where one person on side of the matchup picks for the scaling and the other picks to be that bridge.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, Slayer, right? With Morgana and that being 2
Maybe
bridges.
Light doesn't need items. Is he looking to just dog walk Hope? All right, just force him off the wave with a lightning crash. Nothing more.
Elfing him off the wave. Message sent, Slayer.
Mental win.
Sword. Yeah, Hope can heal up with the vamp that he's got in his kit, but be a couple ways for Light.
There's the Bloodthirster.
The last time we saw like a lot of Zeri, it was mythic items and Shilbo, right? So the champion's got a little bit of everything. Zeri very much needs a little bit of everything in her kit, right? Like, it feels like every AD stat is just kind of good for Zeri, because as long as you're in range of Zeri and she can interact with you, it's very good for Zeri. Those items now give different stats. You need a few items to
crisp.
have.
Okay, hits the crash down this time, but that was ugly. He is down before Weibo can come to swing across. There's no binding to land from Xiaohu, and Hope will take that kill. Ooh, good flash from Tian, gets away from that tempered fate, but Weibo are definitely looking a bit more discombobulated than we've seen them in the last couple of games.
Yeah, well, Crisp is sadly already past his 1-a-game hall pass count.
Yeah, that's true.
That was 2. And that 2 was kind of grim, as there was no Magnet Storm up for Crisp, and, well, I'd say that was like the equivalent of a jockey falling off his horse, sadly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, apt description for Rel as a champion.
It also means that I just called Crisp like 5'5". I called him short.
You did.
Yeah. Got his ass.
One of those. Let's see if that comes back to bite you as this game goes on. There's always room for redemption, especially on a champion like Rel. Blackfire Torch, like you called out, as we look back towards these items. Back here for Xiaohu, so you can start to get that burn online here. The Sword Shoes as well is pretty big. I'm waiting on Light to be able to get one of these resets off. This is one of the pain points of Misfortune with her Strut passive, is she's really hard to knock off of mid lane prio once you shift into these lane assignments. Finally, the Cole gets done. I think this is where Light is going to look to take his reset. He's going to want to go for it now because Dragon, you're a bit late for if you are Light. Maybe Rift Herald might be the play. That's about a minute out here. We'll see if Tian wants to make that trade.
Shanks gets 11 off the next wave. So another 2 seconds off that R key. Always good and always important to keep track of as he is going towards his Seraphs. And this Kassadin has not been set behind at all. Now, top lane has also not been interacted with yet. Breathe, popping the ult.
There's no help coming for Breathe. Redemption coming across as well just to do damage here. Breathe knockdown. Good look there from Tarzan.
Yeah, Trinity Force already completed on the Trundle as he is in a happy spot helping Flandre deal with that lane and attacking side lanes. That was a big thing we talked about for Weibo in that top lane matchup. It is Tarzan that is able to influence that matchup first in Weibo that's really responding, I think, to a lot of Kael's moves. And I know that we set up in the last draft, Slayer, that we were a little bit surprised about that Bard ban from AL, but said that it's a big pick for Kael in particular. Definitely feels like he's cashing in on it this game as they left both Rel and Bard up. Kind of, you know, they forced Weibo to choose between Rel and Trundle and Aurora. Aurora was banned, Trundle was taken, and then they handshake the Bard and the Rel. I think that ended up with a very good scenario.
Why are we here? We have to give this. There's no reason. Xiaohu's now caught. He has to burn Soul Shackles. He's got his flash. I think he's got to use these. Maybe trying to bait for Breathe. As Tian does have to wrap around. Hope gets caught. He does have to cleanse. Tarzan's very low. Tempered Fate and Bullet Timer completely disjointed. Oh, that was a huge mistake there. Again, the connection we know AL for so well between these 5 players, it's just not here today.
I saw Slayer wake up in my picture-in-picture when those two ults were sunk up together. Oh, you got woken up by that one. That was a little bit of an oopsie there. As Chris now with another oopsie himself.
All right, he gets Hope's flash at least. Oh wow, we're getting down and dirty this late into the series. Oh, pillar! All right, Tian, you gotta thank those blast cones, my friend. Still gotta get out though. All right, good. Okay, we need to clean this game up. Oh, we're not anytime soon. The fight. Oh, Shanks, what is that flash? What is happening to my teams? Oh.
Well, that's the kind of sequence that you only enjoy if you're a fan of the LCK and you're hoping for international events. That was tough.
Yeah, the hit watchers are loving this game right now.
Yeah, no beating around the bush there. That was a series of misfortunate events from everyone across the rip. That said, we're going to go back to some sanity, get back to some objectives. Rift Herald secured easily here for AL after the chaos of that last one. Weibo, they stayed to take the kill on that Kassadin, set him a little bit further behind. Shanks picks up the Seraphs in the gray screen as he walks out of base, but it's going to be Rift Herald for that bot outer turret secured as a TP comes in from Xiaohu, and they're going to look to siege upon mid.
All right, Hope is set up for a flank. His World Ender isn't up just yet. They really want to keep these minions topped off, so he knocked down his mid-tier 1. Temper Fate onto 3, though, from Kael. Breathe is going to try and activate his flank now as the minion wave does get thinned out. Another double stun here from Kael. He's setting up his team really well. And Flandre, I mean, he's just completely routed Breathe there. Can he dash over the wall in time, get the heal? No, Shanks gets the kill with the Rift Walk. And he's looking to dog walk down the rest of Weibo. Rift Herald in the backside. Bullet time over the top. That's a great pillar from Tarzan to make sure there's just enough juice in that Misfortune ultimate.
I think this Kassadin's going to hit level 16, and I think AL's going to see a game 5 as this is a 3K gold lead. 2 Heralds crashes to boot. And this Morgana pick is not working out as, man, it really is Tarzan on the Trundle, but such a big pick for him in AL all year. Tarzan and Kael, their ability to dictate the map this game. This has been the first game I think we've really seen that jungle support duo take over.
What is happening? Tian, do we know what our health bar is? Oh, the dunk down too. It's not enough. Oh, we did this for a Breathe flank. Okay, and Breathe just says, "See you guys." Never mind. I was kidding. Haha.
Oh. I think we're going to see more goofy attempts from Weibo this game, Slayer, because I think we're starting to reach that desperation hour.
Let's look at let's just get back to Kael gapping kids with bar. That's what this was.
Yeah, it's been a really nice look. I love how they play on to breathe. Flandre really understanding that he can use the phase rush to get around the H-Rocks. And then, I mean, from there, you're already giving Cassidy a positive fight. Crisp drops... Oh, no, that was the AL redemption. That is a really sick pillar. That's a great call-out. Xiaohu pretty much falls to the pillar as Shanks cleans him up in the back half of that. No black shield for the Morgana to get out of that one. And yeah, I mean, I do see that, like, I know the value of this Morg pick. I just don't think it was this game.
It's a game too early. Remember, we got a game 5 yesterday for a win.
I really think that, like, jungle, you just have such, like, more consistent games playing this jungle. I just think mid, you are really signing up to just being weak. Like, the only real pro that Morgana mid gives you is how early she can delete waves. But if you play her out of the jungle, then you just can delete camps and ramp up and, like, be useful. With black, like, you just aren't a real mid laner with your kit. Your damage ability is W, and you just walk out of that. Like, it's... Anyway. I have some beef with the pick. I think it was picked a little bit too early. Yeah.
I think that's a very fair assessment to make. Yeah, but yeah, I understand it. I think it could be so valuable into this Trundle, but it's fallen flat here as Xiaohu and Weibo have seemingly returned to Earth and have seemed a bit more distraught on the Rift than the two just such well-placed games they had. Well-executed games. Oh, boy. Yep. Turn the turret off. Tempered Fate. Easy peasy. Soul Shackles means squat. Good flash over
Shanks
the pillar.
is up 2 levels.
Exhaust and Shanks. Oh, boy. The Rift Walk is so low on cooldown. And he's got Xiaohu done and dusted once more.
14 out of 16. Scary face, timer, pointer, Monka S, Monka W, all that for the Cassidy timer. As Shanks is looking like he's hitting that. Bot outer turret cleaned up. Otacon being started. Weibo being forced out. And our hope for a closer game 3. We've had 4 one-sided games so far this series, Slayer. And the only difference that we can really point to in the back half of this is that Weibo did win one on red side. Is they're going to continue to chase AL?
Yep. Shanks just zoning them out with the threat of this Kassadin. And that will be the Drake secured. It'll be Shanks to do it. Weibo once again posturing to get a little goofy with one of these fights. Maybe trying to pick people off around this blast cone, but no dark binding.
Goofy.
Finds its mark. Yeah, I mean, they gotta get real crafty and sneaky with some of these plays, but ooh, that's a good Scryer's plant to spot out the shenanigans of Weibo. Tarzan, we can give our red buff. It's not that big of a deal. Or we can look to try and kill off some of these members advancing towards it, and he will end up getting the red buff. I thought we were about to have another classic LPL moment where we throw everything at a red buff.
No, I'm just watching these dark bindings being moving with the missile speed, being hampered by like molasses from season 1. And then you have Cassidy that has a blink from season 1, so that's nice, you know. Regional champion.
Remember when this guy used to silence before he could throw his combo down?
Yes.
Some dark days.
the Q point and click silences from LeBlanc and Cassidy was a mechanic that needed to be removed. It was removed. Now we just have the AoE silence from Cho'Gath. And other AoE silences.
Don't forget Garen.
That was a hard. Garen's is OP. Yeah.
Garen's is so OP. It's the same exact
Those champions are gated. I have discovered recently though my love for Garen. That champion is not okay once you get past like level 13. Jesus Christ.
It's just a brain off champion.
It's really good.
Hey, maybe we'll see a Garen game 5 because boy are we running thin on champions. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it looks like Shanks is going for a 3rd item, Morellonomicon. As that's interesting. You don't really need the arc cooldown reduction, but the magic resist shred is kind of nice when you're Cassidy.
AL just taking everything given to them, right? They're starting to just sap more and more gold, farm on up, because even though they're very far ahead, you'd still like to get Shanks over to level 16, like you always talk about with that Rift Walk. Tarzan wants a ton of gold economy. on himself as well.
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know how you can muck up this game if you're AL. Like, I think Kassadin late game is one of the safest champions to play with and play around.
Oh, mid-crash
also,
down.
your support can do that.
And there's the ball.
Boy.
Oh, Kael, that was disgusting. We were worried about how you set up this MF ultimate, and Kael said, hold on, watch this.
Yeah, those ults aren't overlapped simultaneously this time. They're overlapped.
They figured it out.
Perfectly. Yeah, they figured that one out. Open Kael. Piloting a couple champs they used to great success in Split 2. And Shanks taking advantage of Fearless. They're getting the best of Weibo in this game 4.
We talked about the worry we had once the series went one apiece, that we trust AL and their much denser champion pool than Weibo. And you're starting to see why. And, well, the hope is for Weibo fans that we don't see them suffer a similar collapse that we watched JDG do just a game ago. But it really does feel like it's all going to come down to one game, and anything can happen in that one game. It's just not this one for Weibo, and certainly is not when you get an MVP Bard performance like this out of Kael.
Doing his best carry impression there. I'd say that's a damn good one. As I think he's also rocking the is it the Pirates of the Caribbean themed Bard skin?
It is.
Maybe? Is it? Because if so, that's kind of nice with the bullet time. Kind of slick.
Yeah, tap it into your Bilgewater roots.
Davy Jones. He sent them to Davy Jones' locker there. He did.
Well, there's no coming back.
Facts.
All right. Well, there's definitely no coming back in this game for Weibo if that Baron goes over. Even if
I see Shanks at level 16 and 3 levels up on Xiaohu, so, you know.
Yeah, that's also enough. That's enough for me. And the okay, it was actually a Malignance. All right, so it gets the Malignance. In case you needed more ability haste on that ultimate. There you go. All right, set up around this Baron. Looking pretty pristine for AL. You still don't have your Zeri online to use that Black Shield to burn through all these health bars. Breathe. Yeah, just not strong enough by this point. And, yeah, the Morgana, I mean, I know it's the pain point, but a lot of the later stage threats for Weibo still aren't there. And it's so hard to even try and play around this Baron when you have to show bot to answer that kind of wave.
When there's a Kassadin on the other team, you don't have later game threats. You have later game victims for the Kassadin to be rift walking upon the rest of your team.
But Black Shield on your Zeri.
There is a Black Shield. We'll see if that lasts throughout one rift walk duration. As if he has the mana charged up behind that, those 640 rift walks do hit quite hard. But Chemtech Dragon secured and Slayer, I think that we're just getting ready to time travel ourselves to whatever's next in this game 5.
Is this you calling this a game 5 waiting room? Is that where we're at?
Yeah, we've been here for a while.
Well, as we watch, you know, AL kind of just succinctly go through the motions and try not to make any mistakes. How much? Okay, hold on. Tarzan's gonna just run down Weibo right here.
It doesn't matter.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, Yuzeri's caught in an ultimate. That's pretty bad.
Do?
Bullet time does actually get canceled though. Lightning crash out from light. It just doesn't matter. Wallet diff for AL.
Yep.
Hope is zoning Xiaohu, and they'll take their 1 kill on to Crisp and say, hello, Baron. Hello, purple banner.
Still a blue buff on the Shanks. It does matter a little bit for mana, as we'll see how aggressively AL wants to play around this. Hope is hitting this on a ward, so Weibo do have info.
Okay, Kael, sneaky as ever on the Bard. Do we have another big-time steal in this game? Kael says, not so fast. World Ender, though, doing a good amount of damage. Oh, my God. Xiaohu got deleted. Oh, boy. Shanks is walking down Weibo. 1 rift walk at a time. No sweet spots for Breathe. The healing's nice, but it's not good enough to end the run from anyone's legend. Boy, has it been a roller coaster of a series. Expectations to the wayside. But in your forefront, a do or die game 5 for the upper bracket lives of Weibo Gaming and anyone's legends coming to your airwaves next.
You can see Tian sharing a couple chuckles in his camera there. They knew this game was done for a while, but AL, Shanks gets the Kassadin. They take care of business in this one. And Weibo, you know, we said that the champ pools for AL a bit bigger. the cooking that Weibo did in this game were not enough. Those big champ pools from AL ended up cashing in.
And the diverse champion pool advantage for AL rearing its ugly head for the Weibo squad. You talked about it in the earlier drafts. They're trying to save Kael Bard. Shanks has always had this Cassin in his back pocket. You've got the Flandre J. Celine on. It's just so many angles to look at for a roster like this, and it really proved pivotal. And Cubby, what I was going to ask you before those last couple of fights broke out, we do lose Kael Bard. Like, Shanks loses one of his pocket picks. The Jace comes off the board, but now that we set up for Game 5, do you still like the champion pools more of AL in this one?
Yeah, I don't think that's changed. And look, I think for Weibo, like, I think the biggest takeaway from that, or at least the hope you can have, is that Weibo, and I know it hasn't been their year, but even in past years where it has been their year, I think players like Tian and Crisp, I mean, they can put up games that look like that. Like, they do have stinker games, right? That is part of what makes them good players. They'll go for plays, and they'll hit them a lot of the times. Like, that just happens. So,
right.
If you're Weibo, I think hopefully, you know, hey, we got our stinker game out of the way. And that red side win in the middle of the series does mean that you get side select for Game 5 and a likely blue side, which is big. So we'll see if Weibo can use that to then beat what we expect to be the bigger champion pools of AL. But I think we also have to start talking about mid picks. Like, are there enough mid picks for Xiaohu? Do we see him forced upon a Silas here? Do we see maybe a pocket Syndra come out, a champion that we know that he historically is really good at, but haven't seen a high priority on? So yeah, I'm curious because Morgana, you can play fast, but you can't facilitate a map as well, and we definitely saw Weibo not be able to put things together as well in the back half of that game, and saw Cassidy took over.
Other champions that'll be notable to talk about too. Do we see a Yone angle coming across here for Shanks? Sejuani's still up.
Cool.
I think even outside the Yone Sejuani, I think tank engaged junglers are kind of all that's really left for Tian and Tarzan to juggle with, unless you want to talk about like a Nidalee angle for either one of these guys.
Skarner, yeah, Skarner could be big. We expect Pantheon to be Van. Vi is still up.
I can't believe Vi. Yeah, that's great.
Vi's still up, and Maokai's still up. I think Maokai is definitely something I'd really think about taking away from Tarzan in this last game. Also could be something that you're willing to give over if you want a Silas angle. So a couple things to think about there for Weibo. As yeah, that Morgana mid didn't exactly do a lot of damage, and no one on Weibo did a lot of damage because that comp was picked apart by the Troll and the Bard.
Hey guys, remember when we were really worried about the AL draft? You know what? I think my whatever I read on this series is the opposite.
Yeah,
we did.
We fell in love with the Morgana. We were tricked.
For me, I just hated the MF setups, but.
Well, I hated the execution of them as well early, but then they started to find the execution of them later.
You're going to see them
MF
soon,
setups were quite good, yeah. I mean, even from this fight, like I think from minute one, I thought this fight was carried by Kael. Like that portal placement in the back, the fact that he found Xiaohu as early as he did, that flash from light ended up being kind of grim.
Fighting with AD carry ultimate advantage too, right? Like Hope has bullet time. I mean, I think Light dog walks this fight if he gets to pop lightning crash first. Like it's such a
he didn't have a lightning crash yet for this one, so that's a big deal. I will say I think another thing to look out for in this game is actually redemption advantage. I think that we've seen 4 games where teams have fought on their redemption timer, and we have seen the team with redemption versus no redemption win every time. So that's actually a consistent factor I'm definitely going to look out for throughout playoffs, because it feels like all of our supports are definitely on board of, hey, we have to rush this redemption item. And I think that's actually starting to dictate a lot of games. Like, your supports are squishier with redemption. I think that's why we are seeing a little bit less Nautilus, because he needs the resistances of the Locket, because he's actually a very squishy support. Yeah, so I think that's going to add just a different flavor or a different look in a lot of our playoff games here. Because we have not seen a game outside the Karma Nico game where it wasn't insta redemption rushes from each of our supports.
Enchanters are going to be an interesting conversation too, right? I don't know if we'll see them. I think we actually see enough of them. Maybe there's like a Renata angle possible if teams want to go Kalista Renata. But I don't think if either of these guys are Kalista players. Lucian is also there. But
yeah,
like you talked
Lucian,
about,
good pick.
Braum is up and available. I guess it might just be Braum. Maybe we get some Blitzcrank looks if we really get freaky. Thresh is still always up and available.
Nautilus is still up.
Oh, Nautilus, right, too. That's the one I was blanking on. So maybe I'm so used to enchanters being backloaded in these best of fives because there's been so much enchanter support priority, but we had a Karma game, we had a Lulu game. Support is kind of the place where I don't think we're going to have to worry about with either Kael or Crisp, which is not the same thing we could say about most of the other lanes.
We'll see if anyone gets a Janna angle, you know?
Wow, that's a pull.
Hey, Stunt's been playing it. I think Karma's the most playable Moonstone Renewer support up right now, but even that game, we still saw Redemption rushes, no Moonstones. So just the team fight power of Redemption, too important for all these supports. Again, we've seen it permanently rushed in these games, and I think it's a really important thing to look out for at home. I think that Redemption timer, like if your support's ahead, it's good. I think even giving your support a kill to get an earlier redemption right now, it's showing it's worth it, because every fight that we've seen when every support rushes a support item, the same one, whatever support gets access to it first, like that can dictate a lot. I mean, this goes back to Ardent meta and just like basic league stuff. Support items are strong. If you get it first, it can make a big difference. Made a big difference in the series, and definitely something. One of the many things we're going to be looking out for in this Game 5.
There's a whole lot to look out for, and well, Game 4 was definitely a bit anticlimactic, and the vibe definitely sent by us here. There is nothing more cinematic about League of Legends than a best of 5. There's nothing more cinematic about a playoff best of 5 in the summer, and what signals that more than anything else? The banner song of the game we love, League of Legends. We're going to a break, but it's not going to be a break for any of us. It's going to be Silver Scrapes to sing in Game 5, Do or Die, Anyone's Legends, Weibo Gaming. We'll see you guys on the other side.